Sam's rating of Sinners. 3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna say 8-8.
8-8.
Yeah.
Really?
Now, this is where I'm gonna start getting, like, glaze accusations, where people are gonna say, like, I only say good things about movies. It's just been a good year for movies.
It has been.
Since we started the podcast, there hasn't been a bad movie to talk about. Let me say this about Sinners. I finally saw it. I watched it at midnight last night.
Okay.
Amazing decision.
Okay.
Like, that's how I suggest all the big horror movies. You watch it in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I'm just going to rattle things off. The costume design, the scoring, which I think Ludwig Göransson, you're talking Mandalorian, Oppenheimer, Black Panther, like, amazing. Mm-hmm. The set design, the cinematography, which, you know I'm a sucker for cinematography. The period piece theme, perfect. Like, 10 out of 10. Everything visually that I was consuming about the movie, amazing experience. It was not just good in terms of satisfying, it was good in terms of hard to forget good. In terms of you're coming over and I just saw it last night and I'm still thinking about it. And like that's what you want out of a movie. Mm-hmm. Now I'll say, I think that a lot of the horror stuff about it is very by the books. There was nothing that really made me so unsettled that I was thinking like, I don't know how I'm going to get to bed tonight, which... that doesn't happen often. I don't want to say it could have been done better because I thought that it was perfect for what they were trying to do with the story. But again, if their intention was to shock you with the horror, I felt that it missed the mark. But if that wasn't their intention and the horror was secondary to the story, that might even bump up the score for me because that's what happened. I felt that the horror was more a device to progress the characters forward and teach them lessons that they apply towards the end of the thing rather than really used to impact the audience. And the horror felt more like you were just watching things happen to the characters rather than like really feeling immersed in it yourself. In terms of just the shock value of horror and what most horror movies bring to the table, it didn't really get me. There was a lot of risque stuff in the movie, and I felt that it didn't really advance the plot much. Like, there was no reason for a lot of it. And I'm the type of guy where when something like that comes up, I just keep hitting the 15-second skip button until it's over with. It was another one of those things where I was like, darn it, like, this is a really good movie that, like, I feel like a lot of people are missing out on because of this stuff that really doesn't advance the plot.
Well, that's why I hadn't watched it.
Right.
Same reason with Oppenheimer.
And there's a lot of people
stuff.
like that. And I was one of them, but I was like, maybe I'll just skip it. And I did. But, like, I'm here to say confidently as somebody who, the second each scene started, I skipped it until it was over with. You're not missing anything. And I just was like, why put that in there then? I don't know. Really, really enjoyed the overarching narrative of the story. I enjoyed how it was one of those horror movies where, without spoiling it, nobody's safe. There was a distinct moment where I was like, okay, so here's our handful of people that'll walk out, scratch free. That doesn't happen. Not to say all of them go. Not to say all of them survive. It just doesn't happen the way you think it will. And so I appreciate and applaud Ryan Coogler for writing a horror story that isn't by the books in that sense.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Probably my number 2 behind Superman.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
8.8 out of 10.